Hello everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Holland Land Office Museum's Artifact Video Series. My name is Ryan Duffy, and I'm the director of the museum. And this week we're going to talk about a very important individual to Genesee County's history, but one that I think often gets overlooked or isn't put in the spotlight as much, and that is John Henry Martindale. Now, Martindale was not born in Genesee County, but made his name here in Genesee County in two different fields, actually. First, he was a very accomplished lawyer who actually even represented cases in the Supreme Court. And second of all, he was a graduate of West Point and actually served as a general during the Civil War and was even in command over the defenses of Washington, D.C. for a time. So he was played an important role in the conflict as well. So between his legal career and his military career, he's a rather extraordinary individual who played a major role in the development of Genesee County here. So we're going to go through his life and accomplishments so you can learn a little bit more about General John Henry Martindale.
John Henry Martindale was born in Sandy Hill, New York on March 20th, 1815. He graduated from West Point in 1835 at the rank of brevet second lieutenant. However, he retired the next year as he was not able to get in the Corps of Engineers, which was his desired spot. He then dedicated himself to the law and was admitted to the bar in New York State in 1838. And in 1840, he married his wife, Emmeline Holden, and by that time he had moved to Batavia, where he had started practicing law. He would soon rise to the ranks as he would become appointed district attorney in Genesee County from 1842 to 1846, and then again from 1848 to 1851. After that, he moved to Rochester to open up his own practice. During his time as Attorney General and his time in Batavia, he represented the Seneca Native Americans in several court cases, and two of those cases made it all the way to the Supreme Court. The first was the court case Fellows v. Blacksmith, which was between the Ogden Land Company and the Tonawanda Seneca. And essentially, after the Second Buffalo Creek Treaty, the Tonawandas were forced to be removed from their reservation, though they disputed that because not every member had signed it and it wasn't considered valid to them. However, this did not stop the Ogden Land Company from trying to force them to remove, and one particular sachem, John Blacksmith, refused to leave as he had built improvements that were not paid for by the Ogden Land Company. This court case went all the way to the Supreme Court, with Martindale representing the Tonawanda, and it was finally decided in 1857, and Blacksmith and the Tonawanda actually won, and it was stated that the Ogden Land Company had no legal authority to remove them. He also represented the Seneca in 1946 when he tried to sue white settlers living on the reservation based on the law of 1821. This law stated that white settlers could not settle on Indian lands. First time the courts ruled that they could not remove the settlers. However, in 1849, he tried again, and it was eventually successful. An appeal was raised by the settlers in question in 1859, but it was upheld, the ruling that Martindale argued. And he was well liked by the Seneca, and he acted as a counsel to them in many legal manners and represented their interests in Washington. However, that was only one half of the Martindale story, as Martindale was also a high-ranking member of the United States Army. In August 1861, Martindale rejoined the Army after the outbreak of the Civil War, and he reached the rank of Brigadier General during the war. In the fall of 1861, he actually returned to Batavia to recover from typhoid fever, and actually was one of the most famous soldiers from Batavia at the time, and he delivered speeches to thousands of Western New Yorkers. The main focus was the need for volunteers to replace the exhausted ranks of Union soldiers. He also fought in the Peninsular Campaign of 1862, and after the Battle of Malvern Hill, he was promoted to Brevet Major General. In 1862 and up until 1864, he was made the military governor of Washington, D.C., before he had to retire due to his health declining. However, he was able to return to the front, where he fought in the Bermuda Hundred Campaign, as well as Cold Harbor and the Siege of Petersburg. After the war, he was voted New York State Attorney General from 1866 to 1867. And an interesting note in his history, in 1877, a client tried to shoot him in his office in Rochester. Soon after that, his health continued to decline, and he actually died on December 13th, 1881, in Nice, France, where he was receiving medical treatment. However, his body was returned to Batavia, and he's actually buried in the Batavia Cemetery here in Batavia.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of our Artifact video series and learned a little bit more about John Henry Martindale and his importance to Genesee County's history, both in the legal sense as well as his military career. As always, please check out our YouTube channel, Holland Land Office Museum, where you can watch this video and many more from our video series, as we're approaching 100 videos already, so we've plenty of material to sit and watch. And if you really enjoy anything, maybe give it a like or even subscribe to the channel, as it helps us out a little bit and gets you notified ever quicker when we do release new material. But as always, the best way to learn more about the local history of Genesee County is to stop by the museum and see us in person. And we'll be happy to share even more information with you than what's in these little snippets. So as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.